Some say the e39 M5 is the best M5 ever. Some even say the e39 M5 is the best sports sedan ever made. What's up guys, Gerald here with Carzofzw. Behind me is the baby M5, the Bmw 540i with the M62 Bmw M5, a great sports car disguised as a road car. Making 400 horsepower from a 4.9 litre V8, it instantly became the quintessential sports sedan when it was released. I'm still convinced the Bmw M5 E39 is one of the best things that ever came out of the 90s. Well, other than me. See, the deal with the M5 is it was a great handling car, it made lots of power, and it looked too badass for a 90s car. The engine produced a sound that made you cringe as it commands, "Out of my way, you peasant." A true collector's item, a car every true BMW fanatic should have in their garage. Suppose you've been hoping to get it when it hits the depreciation curve lowest. Well, you're out of luck, prices are already going up, but there's still a solution. You get the next best thing, probably a much better deal, more value for your money. You get the baby M5, the Bmw E39 540i. What most people don't realize is that the 540 has all of the M5 benefits and none of its drawbacks. Where the M5 suffered, the 540i shines. It makes a little bit less power, 300 horsepower from a 4.4 litre V8. The M5 was expensive, way more expensive than the 540i, and it still is, with some models selling for close to 50,000 American dollars. You can grab a 540 for less than 20. And as expected, working repairs on the M5 are a lot more expensive. Parts are hard to get. It's a performance engine. Not so many of the engines were made, unlike the M62 B44, which was used in the 7 series, the 5, the what. I think the S62 was only used in the M5. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was only used. So, as expected, parts are hard to come by. Repairs are very expensive. Unlike the 540, unlike the M5, the 540 is relatively cheaper to maintain. It's even less thirsty. The M5 suffered with its VANOS system, the variable valve timing system. Pre-facelift 540i's have no VANOS, so no problem with variable valve timing. The M5 had no spare wheel as the space was used up by the quad pipes. The 540i is a regular sized spare tire and a single exhaust exit. The design language. This specific 540 is fitted with M5 wheels from the E39 M5. I really like how commanding it is. You see that in your rear view mirror. You just press your brake and then let him go. It's so commanding, so much road presence. And I like the color contrast, the black and white and the silver on the rims. It's very well executed. Being a V8, it sounds so good. Speaking of sounding good, take a listen. Makes all the noises. I do. Boy, does it sound good. It makes all the right noises. It's menacing. It's crazy loud. I couldn't even hear my voice. I couldn't even hear myself thinking from the loudness. Even the rumble sounds. I'm kind of a fan of the idle sounds. I could listen to this sound for God knows how long. Just listen. You can't make love to a woman going with the rhythm of the sound when it goes brr brr. Then you do your thing. I know it's crazy, but I would do it. I would do it. Boy, is it sexual. You know what's crazy? That's his daily. He dailies something like that. What a lucky man. Look at that. Would you look at that? I like the color contrast, the black and white. And then the silver on the wheels. What's it like to be inside a 90s BMW 5 Series in 2021? Well, it kind of looks dated, not in a bad way. The really cool thing about this car, it didn't come with those funny LED or LCD screens, which date so fast. I mean, imagine a 2003 BMW E46 with that tiny infotainment, whatever they call it. It really looks out of place in the modern world. But the really cool thing about this car, it doesn't look so dated. It kind of feels relevant. And for 90s car, it was way ahead of its time. It had an impressive list of standard equipment, including dual zone automatic climate control, 10-way power adjustable speakers, power sunroof, cruise control, keyless entry and go. The list goes on and on. All that in a 90s car. Stuff that some cars still don't have in 2021. It didn't have too many buttons, just enough buttons to do whatever you want. A multifunctional steering wheel, controls for your radio, controls for your climate. Everything was where it needed to be. It had just the right stuff to make modern cars look like some kind of overkill, and they really are. I mean, look at this. You have your 10 CD changer, enough controls. You don't have too many buttons, so much that it gets so clustered. The steering wheel is very comfortable. It's a kind of an old-fashioned design. Well, I mean, it's a 90s car anyway. It's a 90s car still. Very analog. That's the really cool thing about it. So what's been done to this car is it's been converted. Started life as an automatic. Now it's a manual. Then another cool thing, they came with phones. These were cars meant for business people worrying about profits, hitting a long journey to maybe some other business associates, or maybe heading to a meeting, but getting there in style. What's cooler than that? All that in a 90s car. In the 90s, before cell phones, before Google, before YouTube, before the internet. Back in the 90s, when people were still worrying about the millennium. You remember the 2000 stories when people came up with all sorts of conspiracy theories. Scared of the 2000s, people thought they were going to die, sold properties and stuff. There was the BMW, the answer to every man's problem. You could be having issues with your wife. The Rover 540 takes away all the stress. This specific car has been chipped. It makes slightly more power than it did when it left the shop. And kind of a giveaway is the oil pressure gauge on the A-pillar. I mean, I think you really need to know your oil pressure in a car like this, especially the way it tempts you to flow it at every opportunity. And it isn't even that bad on fuel. Gives you like 10 from a liter, which is okay, which is more than okay for a V8. Right positions, you can even U-tow easy. You see, or you can even do it different. Hit your brake and then brake, tap your accelerator, clutch in the right position. This is some of the nicest posters for 90s car, very comfortable, even for long journeys. A true BMW, sporty, luxurious, and comfortable. As the saying goes, fast, cheap, reliable, pick any two. The BMW 540i says, why two when you can have all three? This is a car you can live with forever, a car you can daily, a car you can depend on. The BMW 540, the baby M5 from the 90s. The ride quality is astonishing. It soaks up bumps with so much ease. Thanks to Mike for the car. If you want your car to be in a video like this, please use the contact details in the description below.